For countless individuals across the globe, the morning ritual begins with coffee, tea, or an energy drink. Caffeine, the world's most widely consumed psychoactive substance, is deeply ingrained in our modern lives, powering our productivity and sharpening our focus. But beyond the simple jolt lies a nuanced interaction with our biology. What if our traditional approach to caffeine is inherently flawed, and a more precise method could unlock sustained benefits without the familiar pitfalls? This exploration delves into a strategic approach, microdosing caffeine, and how it directly influences the delicate balance of our adenosine receptors. To understand caffeine, we must first understand adenosine. Adenosine is a neuromodulator, a molecule naturally produced by our brains as a byproduct of cellular activity. Throughout our waking hours, adenosine levels steadily increase, binding to specific receptors on our neurons. As more adenosine binds, it signals a gradual accumulation of fatigue, slowing down neural activity and promoting feelings of sleepiness. This elegant biological mechanism is crucial for regulating our sleep-wake cycle, preparing our bodies and minds for rest after a day's exertion. This is where caffeine enters the picture. Caffeine is structurally similar to adenosine, allowing it to act as a competitive antagonist. When caffeine enters the bloodstream and reaches the brain, it can bind to the same adenosine receptors that adenosine would normally occupy. Crucially, however, caffeine does not activate these receptors, it merely blocks them, preventing adenosine from binding and signaling fatigue. This effectively mutes the brain's internal signal for sleepiness, leading to increased alertness and perceived energy. It doesn't create new energy, but rather postpones the feeling of tiredness. Our typical consumption habits, often involving large doses of caffeine, present a significant challenge. When adenosine receptors are constantly flooded and blocked by high levels of caffeine, the brain adapts. It responds by creating more adenosine receptors or by making existing ones less sensitive, a process known as upregulation or desensitization. This biological adaptation is the primary mechanism behind caffeine tolerance. To achieve the same stimulating effect, we then require even more caffeine, leading to a vicious cycle and the infamous caffeine crash as the high dose wears off and a surge of adenosine can finally bind to the now proliferated receptors. Microdosing caffeine offers an alternative path, a strategic re-engagement with this powerful stimulant. Instead of infrequent, large doses, this approach involves consuming significantly smaller amounts of caffeine, spaced out frequently throughout the day. The goal is not to completely overwhelm the adenosine system, but to gently modulate it. Think of it as a subtle dimmer switch, rather than a hard on-off toggle. This method seeks to leverage caffeine's benefits without triggering the maladaptive responses that lead to tolerance and the subsequent crash, fostering a more harmonious relationship with our brain chemistry. The brilliance of microdosing lies in its ability to optimize adenosine receptor function. By introducing smaller, controlled amounts of caffeine, we can block a percentage of adenosine receptors without completely saturating them. This partial blockade allows some adenosine to still bind, maintaining a degree of sensitivity in the remaining receptors. The brain doesn't perceive a constant, overwhelming flood of caffeine, and therefore, it is less likely to upregulate or desensitize the receptors. This delicate balance helps to preserve the efficacy of caffeine over time, allowing for consistent focus and energy. The practical benefits of optimizing adenosine receptors through microdosing are significant. Users often report a smoother, more sustained feeling of alertness and focus, devoid of the sharp peaks and troughs associated with traditional caffeine consumption. The jitters, anxiety, and eventual crash that can accompany large doses are notably diminished or entirely absent. This consistent cognitive state allows for enhanced productivity and mental clarity throughout the day, providing a stable foundation for demanding tasks. It's about achieving a gentle, yet persistent, mental edge. For those considering this refined approach, implementation is key. While individual responses vary, a common starting point involves consuming very small doses, perhaps 20 to 50 milligrams of caffeine, every 1 to 2 hours. This can be achieved through specific caffeine supplements, highly diluted coffee, or certain teas. Careful attention to one's own body and its unique response is paramount, gradually adjusting dosage and frequency to find the optimal balance. It is important to note that microdosing is not about increasing total daily caffeine intake, but rather distributing it more effectively. Beyond the immediate experience of sustained focus, microdosing caffeine may also offer long-term benefits for the health and responsiveness of our adenosine system. By avoiding constant receptor saturation, we may help to prevent the excessive upregulation of adenosine receptors. This, in turn, could mitigate the severity of withdrawal symptoms should one choose to reduce or cease caffeine intake, as the brain would not have overcompensated to the same extent. It's an approach that respects the intrinsic biological mechanisms, working with the body rather than against it, for more sustainable cognitive enhancement. Our relationship with caffeine has long been one of powerful, albeit sometimes volatile, dependency. But by understanding the intricate dance between caffeine and adenosine receptors, we can move towards a more sophisticated engagement. Microdosing caffeine isn't merely a trick, it's an application of neuroscientific principles to optimize a common daily habit. It challenges us to rethink the more is better mentality and instead embrace a strategy of precision and subtlety. For those seeking a smoother, more consistent cognitive edge, optimizing adenosine receptors through microdosing offers a compelling new paradigm.